Go.
All right, welcome back to the preview show. I am Jonathan Field, and that is Casey Campbell there. And we are taking a look at Richmond coming up this week, and we're also reviewing Martinsville. Casey, we saw the Martinsville races. Josh Berry pulled off the victory in the Xfinity Series, and in the Cup Series, Martin Truex Jr., second one of the year. You were correct with your picks.
I was. I can't believe I'm correct with my picks. And by the way, nice job opening the show, man. So yeah, I think Josh Berry's win was amazing, and kind of seeing what it's done to the racing community and the short track community. We've seen, like, Dale Jr. said it. I mean, he openly cried, and he hadn't done that in all of his career in racing, and that was really cool to see. And good to see Josh Berry and get that win. That's a big win for short track drivers that want to make it in NASCAR and all that fun stuff. And that was good to see. Then the Cup race was, I don't know what that was, but it was quite interesting. But we had our first multi-winner of the season. We had Martin Truex Jr. get it done at Martinsville, and he has been pretty dominant there over the past few years, beating out Denny Hamlin, beating out Chase Elliott. But Ryan Blaney could have been up there too if he hadn't had that pit road issue. There'd be a lot of contenders, but overall a good weekend.
It was a good weekend. Martin Truex Jr. picked up his third Martinsville win in the last four races there at the track. Very good short tracker. I remember not too long ago they were wondering if Martin Truex Jr. was going to win at a short track, and now he's won the last 3 out of 4 at Martinsville. So looking ahead to this weekend at Richmond too, Martin Truex Jr. He's won, I think, 2 of the last 3 races there. What do you feel about his chances?
I think the Toyotas have a really good chance of getting it done there, but you got to look at the overall performance that Toyota has had this year. And, we've seen them kind of pick it up this year in compared to last year where they just struggled. And yeah, Denny had a good year, but really between, the other three teams, they just didn't run well. But now Christopher Bell is running well. Denny Hamlin is running well. Kyle's not quite there yet, which is really weird for me to see that Kyle is struggling, but he's going to a track that he has done well at in the past. So we're gonna have to see how this all unfolds. And another thing you got to keep an eye on is you got to watch out for those Penske cars, because they've been pretty strong as well. But here's another thing. I was watching Race Hub last night. Hendrick Motorsports has not won at Richmond since 2008. So
Wow.
Kyle Larson could be a threat as well. We all know how that 5 car is done this year. So be interesting to see what happens on Sunday.
It will be. Going back to Kyle Busch, in the last 10 races, he has an average finish of 5.6 at Richmond, the best of any driver out there. Yeah, so when it comes to Hendrick Motorsports, they've had a good start to the season. Chase Elliott hasn't won yet, and neither has Alex Bowman. Do you think it's time to kind of think about them at this point, or is it just kind of a matter of time?
It's a matter of time. It's way too early. It's a long season, and as we kind of figure out, and as the season kind of goes along, the guys that you're used to seeing up there are going to be up there. I do think Chase will win a couple of races. We're going to get into some road courses in there, and we all know how strong he is there. They've been putting some runs together. We just haven't really seen the wins out of that 48 team. And I know that it's a contract year for Alex Bowman. So I think he's going to get some wins, and I think he's going to get that 48 back in victory lane and get Ally their first win with the 48 team. So it'll be good there, but we'll just have to see. The one team that I think is going to be is, I don't know what's going on, and we've talked about this all season long, is just Stewart-Haas. We all know how good Kevin Harvick is. That 4 car will be a contender. I just don't know about the other 3 cars, if they can get up there, because we saw Eric Almirola for a time. I think he rolled off like 9 straight top 10s. We just haven't seen anything out of the 10 bunch. We haven't seen much out of Cole. We haven't really seen that much out of Chase either. So it'll be interesting, and we'll just have to see how how they do the rest of the year. But it's going to be an interesting ride for Chase Elliott, for Alex Bowman, and the rest of those guys.
Yeah, two things. If Alex Bowman can put together a points paying victory, it'd be the first since Dover in June of 2017 for the 48 team. And also SHR, Kevin Harvick 8th in the standings, Cole Custer 24th, Chase Briscoe 27th, and Eric Almirola 28th. Not good performance for the team.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff. You would have told me that those Stewart Haas cars would be struggling right now. I would have told you that you were crazy. But things happen. Teams have their up and down stretch, but we'll just have to see how they do in the next few months as we get closer and closer to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. We're also getting closer and closer to Throwback Weekend. Some throwback schemes released. You mentioned Chase Elliott. He had a Alan Kwiecki scheme, and you saw some other ones as well.
Yeah, there's been a lot of them. So, I talked to Tommy Joe Martins yesterday. Of course, he's running the 10-10-3-4-5 scheme with, the style scheme that Rich Bickle ran in the late 90s. You got Josh Balicki's throwing it back to Lenny Pond, Joey Logano with Marco Andretti, with Mario Andretti, I should say. And there's been a lot of good ones, and actually one just got released today. Brandon Godovic will be running the Kyle Petty Hot Wheels scheme at Darlington from Kyle Petty's late '90s car. So that's gonna be fun. It's just so cool seeing all these schemes and all these designers and stuff. And it should be a fun weekend with more schemes to come in the next few weeks.
Yes, and I especially love that throwback scheme because I have the diecast right here of the Kyle Petty.
That is pretty cool.
I thought of that when I saw the throwback. All right, so we have trucks coming up. They were off, last week, and now we're back with racing at Richmond. What do you expect for the weekend?
I expect Kyle Busch to win. That's number one. It's been a storyline all year. The Toyotas have been dominant per se. They've been the dominant team to look out, the dominant manufacturer, I should say, to really watch out for coming in to this weekend. You look at what Ben Rhodes and Thor and Matt Crafton and Thor Sport has done over time, but just particularly KBM's on they're on a 3-race winning streak. The 51 truck is on a 2-race winning streak, and Toyota has won every single race this year. But what we haven't seen, I'm not going to declare Toyota the dominant team until they're just going to dominate the entire season in the playoffs. They could they do that? Yeah, but I think we have to hear from those Chevrolets. And I think particularly GMS. We haven't seen anything out of them lately with those 5 trucks. We haven't seen much out of East Motorsports. So I think we got to see from the Chevy camp, and we'll maybe see what the Fords have in store. I know Todd Gillen's putting up some good runs for the front row guys. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, and last season, Ford won 2 of the first 5 races. Toyota won 2 of the first 5 races. Chevrolet won 1. Toyota swept it all, like you mentioned there. So with that in mind, Richmond Cup Series, give us your pick.
Oh God.
First.
Okay, so let's go. Oh geez. All right, so I got to continue the trend here when going with that. I'm going to go with Martin Truex Jr. this week. I really think that 19 team is really starting to heat up. It takes some time to get used to a new crew chief like Martin Truex Jr. had to do with James Small last year. So I say the 19 gets it done.
19 gets it done. Well, we're repeating ourselves because I'm going to pick Brad Keselowski. He's earned the most points of any driver in the last 10 races at Richmond. Dominated the race back in September or so, and so I think Brad Keselowski is going to get it done. All right, so we were talking about the trucks. Who do you got for trucks?
Well, I kind of already said who I want. I think I just think that 51 truck is just really, really good. I think Kyle's in there for the next 2 races. It's going to be it's Toyota and KBM and everybody. They've put a lot of work into this season. I think it's going to be. I wouldn't be too surprised if Toyota wins all the races this year because they're just that good. I think we still have to hear from, like I said, we still have to hear from those we have to see what GMS has in store, and as well as Nice Motorsports, and maybe we'll hear from the Fords. I'm not too sure, but for right now, there's really no one stopping and the Toyotas right now. So I'll take Kyle.
Kyle Busch, all right. Well, kind of like a broken record, I'm gonna pick Kyle Busch too because I think he's gonna be good. Richmond, the Truck Series, his own equipment, it's gonna be a good weekend for
Yeah.
Kyle. Yeah. All right. Well, we will be back next week to review Richmond and preview Talladega. Talladega, the racetrack. Eric Church will be proud of that reference there. Thank
Yes.
you for tuning in.